21st century was a very difficult years for false prophets, for they walked around wearing red and black garments and driving sadly in Lamborghinis and giving false prophecies for which they were persecuted so harshly.
But the proceeds from their stolen gold and their seeds and tithes, money that they solicited from their unsuspecting followers, comforted their hearts. I thought this one would require me to sit outside today and have some cup of tea for it.
As blood is thicker than water, so is truth mightier than lies.
We just have had an election in South Africa, national election, where we were electing our government, and it was a very dramatic one. And as we sit here today, we haven't really have gotten to a point where we have a political party that has got majority in parliament. So we are left in a cliffhanger for now, waiting to see what will transpire. But that's not really my topic here. I don't know if maybe it's me, or maybe there's some other people who are sharing the same sentiments with me. I just have an question to beautiful provovos, the prophets in South Africa. Maybe let's just extend it to Africa. Let's just extend it to the whole world. All the so-called prophets out there. This election in South Africa has been a dramatic one, a very dramatic one, and the outcomes have proven to show that this was something to really speak about, because they always I'm sorry about that. They always predict how many bananas you have in your fridge and which soccer team is going to win. Don't you think this was the chance for them to really prove themselves that they do really hear from God, that they will give us some indication of what we see now, maybe before it happens? Maybe you would have had something like Jacob Zuma, MK Party, Government of National Unity, coalitions, things like that. Nothing, because you are forensic, yeah, right? You can tell us how many voices we have in our fridges and how many bananas are there, how many eggs, and nothing about MK Party, Jacob Zuma stuff, coalition. That's surprising, because none of them really gave us what is happening now before it happened. Wasn't it a good chance for them to really come out and say, hey, this is what is going to happen, and then we see it today, and we're like, yeah, this thing is still there, the prophets are still hearing from God? It's just a question that I have. Or maybe they decided that after what happened in 2021 in the US, with them being really exposed the way they were, they decided to play safe this time and say, hey, let's not go all the way out, because really they didn't, except at least one that I've heard, that is Prophet Hubert Angel, the one from Zimbabwe. Gold and stuff is coming to mind, but leave that. He said whatever is going to happen was going to leave the ANC still the Judah of the house. Well, don't ask me what does that mean, because I also don't know what it means.
Whilst there is going to be a move of taking a few things out, where ANC is going to lose ground, so to speak, ANC is still the Judah of the house.
Thank you, sir.
Here is a word that I just learned recently. Listen. Pseudo-profundity refers to statements that are structured to imply depth and insight where none actually exist.
That's funny.
I even asked a question to his folks. What does that mean? The Judah of the house. What exactly does it mean? Because look at this. Before we went to the elections, the people who don't pretend to be prophets but who just are doing polls, they told us that this is what's going to happen, and they were not far from what we are seeing now. And these polls were just public. Everyone knew it. And I could just maybe also say the same thing that Hubert Angel said and called prophecy if I wanted to, looking just at the polls, because polls, they told us that the ANC was going to drop. However, it was still going to be the majority in terms of the votes casted towards it or for it. So if being a Judah of the house means you have more vote than other political parties, even though that those votes, they don't give you power, which is 50+1 in parliament, well, that is something that everyone knew. Whether they get 50+1 or they got 50+1 or they got 40 something and every other party shared the 60%, they were still going to be the ones who have got more votes. That was intentionally vague, according to me, because he didn't know really what was going to happen, but he just played safe and played with the minds. If I say they were going to still have the majority, everyone knew that, even though that majority, there was a good chance that it was not going to give them the 50+1. But if they don't get 50+1, he's still right because they're still a majority. If they get 50+1, he's still right because they're a majority. So
the prophecy is made up, but it's also true.
Not to everyone, because some of us, we still give ourselves some time to think and reason about everything. You know, we're not just ready to scream and jump and shout just because Hubert Angel have just spoken, and regardless of what he says, you know, because there are people like that. Even if you can say this is not, they will say, yeah, this is sound, yeah. They just want to shout and scream and celebrate everything that he says. You know, we are not that deceived, if I may use that word. So this is not just to make fun of the pro-vovos, the pro. This is basically to just say to you, these people are deceived. If they're not deceived, then they are liars, and they are intentionally deceiving, or both, because they are not prophets. They are not hearing from God, and if they were hearing from God, at least this is one of the things that we would have heard them saying. So that tells me that, as I have been saying, I'm being vindicated, and not only me, a lot of other people, my brothers and sisters in the Lord who have been saying this. It's true. They don't hear from God. They listen to the polls like Hubert Angel did, and they just perhaps buy some people to give them some information, and if there is none of that or none of those options, then they are just like everyone else. Don't forget to like, comment, share on this video, and also this YouTube channel. Subscribe also, please do kindly subscribe. All right, have a blessed one. God bless you.
Nothing but the truth.